Hi, I'm Brother Reed, and welcome back to Walking Through the Word. Today we're reading through Genesis 8, the continuance of the story of Noah. When last we heard, the flood had come, Noah was in the boat, floating above the water for 150 days, and today we'll start in Genesis 8, verse 1. Genesis 8, verse 1. But God remembered Noah, and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him. And God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the water subsided, and the mountains of the deep and the floodgates of the sky were closed, and the rain from the sky was restrained, and the water receded steadily from the earth. And at the end of 150 days the water decreased. In the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark rested upon the mountains of Ararat. The water decreased steadily until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains became visible. Verse 6. Then it came about, at the end of 40 days, that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent out a raven, and it flew here and there until the water was dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove from him to see if the water was abated from the face of the land. But the dove found no resting place for the sole of her foot. So she returned to him into the ark, for the water was on the surface of all the earth. Then he put out his hand and took her and brought her into the ark to himself.
So Noah decided he would try letting a dove go.
Good luck!
But the dove returned with nothing as well.
So he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent out the dove from the ark. The dove came to him toward evening, and behold, in her beak was a freshly picked olive leaf. So Noah knew that the water was abated from the earth. Then he waited yet again another 7 days, and sent out the dove. But she did not return again to him. So we can see here that at this point, the rain stopped after the 40 days and 40 nights, right? And so then Noah opened the window on the top, and he sent out a bird. He sent out a raven. And it flew here and there until the water dried up. So somehow this raven stayed airborne the entire time, didn't feel like coming back. And then he sent out a dove, and the dove flew around and then came back. The water wasn't there. Waited another week, and then it came back and it had this olive branch. And so it was showing that the water was starting to go away, starting to abate because there was this fresh olive branch, right? So he waited another 7 days and sent out the dove again, but she didn't return to him again. So now the dove went out and found a place to stay. That's kind of the implication of this going on here. So Noah started to understand that, the water was going away, land was coming out, and he was going to have a safe place to go. Now it came about in the 601st year, this is verse 13, in the first month, on the first month, the water was dried up from the earth. Then Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the surface of the ground was dried up. In the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. Then God spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds and animals and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, that they may breed abundantly on the earth, and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every bird, everything that moves on the earth, went out by their families from the ark. So the flood was over. They had landed. They had opened up the doors, and they let all the animals out to kind of do their thing. God said He's going to take care of that part of it. So God went ahead and took care of it. And Noah decided he was going to set up camp, and he was going to have a place to live. Now he was going to start his life, right? Now when we look at verse 20, we're going to see the first thing that Noah did kind of on his own accord. He was letting out the animals and stuff like that. That was all part of commandments that he got. But verse 20 starts the first thing that he did on his own. Verse 20. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. So this is, again, he's learned from the lessons of the past. He understood the importance of an animal sacrifice and not food, not grain. And he went and he took it, and this was a sacrifice because that was food that they could have ate, right? And he sacrificed it to God and burnt it upon the offering altar. Verse 21. The Lord smelled the soothing aroma, and the Lord said to himself, I will never again curse the ground on your account. For the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth, and I will never again destroy every living thing as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. And that brings us to the end of chapter 8, talking about the flood subsiding. We see that the Lord, it says that the Lord smelled the soothing aroma. And a lot of times it's associated with prayer too, that the prayer gets lifted up and it's a sweet aroma. So Lord accepted this sacrifice, saw it, thought it was good, and because of that, He blessed the earth in a way, and said He would never destroy every living thing as I have done. And then He gives us this little poem to remember. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. But that is while the earth remains. And we do understand that time is coming when it won't be around that much more. So that was chapter 8. Join us next time for chapter 9 of Genesis. Thank you.